Throughout cinema, some of the most interesting relationship stories are not simply about romance. They are about unexpected connections, emotional support, personal growth, and the way two people from different stages of life can influence each other. In today's video, we're counting down 10 movies featuring stories about older women and younger men, with each film offering its own perspective on friendship, companionship, emotional connection, and the challenges that can arise when people find themselves connected in unexpected circumstances. So, let's begin the countdown. Number 10. A touching story about loss, responsibility, and finding support during one of life's most difficult periods. The story follows Dan, a kind young man whose life changes dramatically after the tragic loss of his brother. While trying to deal with his own emotions, Dan also has to take on the responsibility of caring for his mother, who now needs constant help and attention. As his responsibilities continue to grow, Dan finds himself struggling to balance his personal feelings with everything expected of him. His situation changes when a woman enters his life and begins helping with household responsibilities and caring for his mother. What starts as practical support gradually develops into a meaningful connection. Through this relationship, Dan begins to look at his circumstances differently and finds a renewed sense of hope. Bastard is ultimately a human story about grief, responsibility, and the importance of having someone by your side during difficult times. Number 9. Director Cian Abrahams. Emotional story centered on self-discovery and starting over. The film follows Flora, a woman who has experienced difficult moments throughout her life. After carrying the weight of her past for a long time, she decides to take a new direction and reconnect with herself. Her journey takes her to unfamiliar places, where she encounters new people and experiences situations far removed from the life she once knew. With every new encounter, Flora begins to see herself and the world around her from a different perspective. Rather than focusing only on romance, the film explores the deeper emotional connections that can develop between people and how those encounters can influence personal growth. Saudade is a thoughtful story about leaving the past behind, rediscovering one's identity, and finding the courage to move forward. Number 8. Director Axel Munoz. Coming in at number 8 is Noches de Julio, a story about loneliness, expectations, and the difference between imagination and reality. Julio is a quiet man who struggles to connect with other people. His routine changes when he meets Mara, a mysterious young woman who shares some unusual interests with him. The two quickly develop a strong sense of connection and begin to imagine that they may have found someone who truly understands them. However, as they spend more time together, they discover that getting to know another person is not always as simple as creating an ideal image of them. Their expectations begin to collide with reality, forcing them to reconsider what they thought they knew about each other. The film offers an interesting look at human relationships and reminds us that genuine understanding comes from seeing people as they really are, rather than simply seeing the version we imagine. Number 7. Director Melchior. Thames starring Valentine Priory and Anna Feldman. An atmospheric drama where an ordinary summer gathering takes an unexpected turn. The story follows Lucas, a young man who decides to visit his friend Nicholas during the summer holidays. What begins as a simple visit soon becomes more complicated when several people gather at the same house to spend their vacation together. Everything seems relatively peaceful until a powerful storm arrives. As the weather changes, tensions among the guests begin to rise. Small disagreements develop into deeper divisions, and the atmosphere inside the house becomes increasingly uncomfortable. During this difficult situation, Lucas encounters a mysterious stranger, leading to a series of unexpected developments. The film uses this unusual setting to explore relationships, tension, and the way difficult circumstances can reveal hidden sides of people's personalities. Y la lluvia también is a dramatic story about unexpected encounters and how quickly an ordinary situation can change. A story built around memories, loss, and the difficult process of letting go of the past. The story follows Sarah, a woman who has spent nearly 3 decades living a quiet and isolated life while holding on to memories of someone who once played an important role in her life. Her peaceful routine changes when Eduardo, a young man, arrives looking for answers about his late father. After discovering clues connecting Sarah to an important chapter in his father's past, Eduardo begins asking questions about what happened many years earlier. Sarah decides to share what she remembers, giving Eduardo a new perspective on his family's history. Although their meeting is surrounded by difficult emotions, their conversations gradually become an opportunity for both of them to confront the past. Eventually, Eduardo leaves Sarah with an old photograph connected to his father. For Sarah, the photograph represents memories she has carried for years. But rather than continuing to live in the past, she finally chooses to let those memories go. The story concludes with Sarah accepting what happened and deciding to move forward. Pain and Glory presents an emotional reflection on memory, acceptance, and the courage it takes to begin a new chapter. 5. Director Alexander Saul. A short and thoughtful drama about an unexpected connection between two people from different stages of life. The film explores the relationship between a young man and an older woman whose paths cross through their shared appreciation for art. As they spend more time together, their connection gradually develops into something meaningful. Their conversations and experiences allow both characters to discover new perspectives on companionship, emotions, and the influence that another person can have on our lives. Rather than relying on dramatic events, the film focuses on the quieter side of human relationships and the importance of genuine connection. 4. Director Anxos Fazans. At number 4 is The Dashed Lines, a recent drama about loneliness, difficult circumstances, and an unexpected encounter. The story follows Bay, a woman going through a challenging period in her life as she adjusts to the end of her marriage. One evening, her quiet routine is interrupted when Dennis, a young man, unexpectedly enters her home under difficult circumstances. Instead of immediately reacting with anger or fear, B chooses to listen and understand what has brought him into this situation. What initially appears to be an uncomfortable and unexpected encounter gradually turns into a meaningful conversation between two people dealing with their own personal struggles. As they talk, both begin to see their circumstances from a different perspective. The film explores themes of loneliness, understanding, second chances, and the unexpected connections that can emerge between people who might otherwise never have crossed paths. 3. Director Felipe Scholl. Taking the third spot is The Other End, an emotional drama about personal choices, family expectations, and an unusual friendship. The story follows a 43-year-old woman whose life is turned upside down after experiencing an event that deeply affects her. During this difficult period, she meets a kind young man, and the two gradually develop a close friendship. Their connection becomes increasingly important as they try to understand each other and navigate the challenges surrounding them. However, not everyone sees their relationship in the same way. His family, in particular, struggles to understand and accept the choices the two are making. 2. Director Ursula Morga. A short drama centered on an unexpected connection formed during a summer vacation. Eva leaves the city and travels to a small, quiet town for a summer break. While there, she meets a young man who regularly helps her carry the bags she buys. She is drawn to his kindness and natural personality, and the two gradually become friends. Their simple encounters create a connection that seems to offer Eva something different from the life she is accustomed to. Their story does not develop as simply as expected. Unexpected events begin to unfold, changing the situation between them and giving the story a more emotional direction. With its quiet atmosphere and understated storytelling, explores how a brief encounter can leave a lasting impression. Director Tim Garrick. And finally, at number 1, we have Behaving Badly. The film follows Rick Stevens, a young man who forms a friendship with Pamela. Their connection takes them into a world of art and rock and roll, where they experience a variety of unusual situations and encounter different perspectives on life. As they spend more time together, their friendship becomes part of a larger series of experiences that challenge the way they see themselves and the people around them.